Yes, I'm making a video about a chair. And before you start writing nasty comments, you're watching a video about a chair. So, what's the problem with this thing? Well, the problem is this. The problem is Moon gets in the way. No, I'm just kidding. The problem is that, if I can get this down, the problem is that it is made, unfortunately, in the United States of China. So you know what that means? That means someone's taking over the video. No, but in all seriousness, this thing is a shit show. So why do I have this chair? Well, I had a chair here before that was from Ikea that lasted me like 5 or 6 years, and the only problem was the leather started peeling off. And I mean, for a chair that is as old as it was, you could kind of expect that to happen. But in all the years that I had it, there was no other problems besides just the leather coming off. But this one is loaded with problems. Watch, I'm going to turn it and you're going to hear this. Do you hear that? You hear that rubbing? I don't know how well camera picks that up, but there is a distinct rubbing sound whenever this turns. Let's see if I push it up, maybe that'll make it more. Not really, but you can kind of hear it creaking. But that's only the start of the problems, you see. If we look down here, you will see that Moon is meowing. You'll see that these wheels are just in a shit show condition. The bearings are just fucking gone, or whatever's holding these in place. Most of them are just gone, totally destroyed, and the wheels are also starting to crack. That is probably not going to make that out too well. So let me pop the wheel off. Yeah, I can do that. They're so broken. Let me pop the wheel off and you will see. Oh, and that just fell off too because, yeah. You can see that if the camera will focus. This thing is a problem child when it comes to focus, let me tell you. There you go. You can see that big slit of damage right there that just came out of nowhere. And you can also see that, I don't know how well it's going to pick it up because it's a dark surface, but you can see that there's like nothing left. There used to be a decent amount of plastic there that would kind of hold this thing in place, but that sort of shredded itself up, and now if I put it in, you'll see that it's very loose. If there was a good color balance here, you would see that it's very loose, but you can tell it's very loose, which shouldn't happen, because there's one wheel set that's more or less still intact, and you can see it doesn't do that. This one wheel kind of shakes because that's the one with the crack in it, but so far this set is the only set that hasn't had any issues like that. Yeah, the wheels are cracking like I mentioned, but the bearings aren't completely destroyed like on this one, this one, this one, or this one. So all four are just gone except one set, but they're all gone. And remember how I mentioned that, let me see if I can get this back on with one hand. Let me switch hands. There we go. So remember how I said that other chair lasted me like 5 or 6 years? Well, look at the date on this chair. January 2020. So this chair isn't even a year old yet. And you want to know when I bought the chair? In August. So this chair has been here, Moon, it's been here for 4 months. It's been here for 4 months, and it's already plagued with problems that the last chair just did not have. Thank you, China, for your terrible quality chairs. I gotta sit in this with the wheels that fall off And the bearings that are just destroyed, yeah, they're dark, so it isn't gonna focus well, I know. But you get what you get. Like I said, the camera is not a fan of focusing in the right place. Takes a couple shots. But yeah, you can see there that, yeah, you really can't see that. Okay, I guess that's a little better. You can see that it's a very wide circle, where it used to not be that, because when the wheels first started falling off, I popped one of these out and saw that there was very little space for this to fit in. But when the wheels started falling off, they sort of locked themselves up. Like, it was really, really hard to turn them. I'm not sure why. For about a month. This was about 2 months ago when this started happening. The wheels first started falling off in October, and they locked up through November. But all of a sudden, they started turning again just fine at the beginning of the month. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then I noticed the chair was starting to get really, really rattly. And then I took off the wheels and discovered they basically just shredded up their bearings. And that's the only reason they still turn. But now, eventually, one of these days, these things are all going to fall apart because there's no goddamn bearings left. Fun. And it also makes that squeaking noise, like I mentioned. There used to be some. The old chair, it had some black shit around here. I don't know if that comes into play with why this thing squeaks, because there's none there. There wasn't the old one, none here, so maybe that has something to do with the squeaking, but I'm not really sure. Oh, and before I forget, here's what it sounds like when it's rolling. It never made those clicking sounds before. The first month that I had it, this thing was just fine. The only thing I hated was it wasn't like the same dimensions as the old chair, which fit perfectly under my desk. This one sticks out a tiny little bit, but I kind of worked around that inconvenience. But then it started falling apart. And, you're going to say, oh, but isn't that what the wheels are supposed to sound like? No, they're supposed to sound something like that. Much smoother and none of that weird clicking that's going on. Before this thing started falling apart, it was very smooth. You just got something like a whew, whew, and now you just get this fucking mess. Thank you, China. Now I gotta buy a new damn chair. Well, I'm gonna wait till this one falls apart completely. Who knows? Maybe the wheels will finish shredding their bearings and there'll be no wheel casing left at all. And I can convince my mother to buy me a new chair. And maybe we can go to Ikea for that, because I sort of trust Ikea chairs more than these ridiculous home goods chairs. Even though they're both just as terrible, I kind of trust Ikea more because that one wasn't as bad. Yeah, it held up for many years. And I'm starting to remember that this bar right here, I don't know how well the camera makes it out, is bent. I don't think it was bent when I got it. So yeah, this thing is 4 months old and on its way out. Just as the power of China and what it can do to you and your home, and your poor old wallet that has to go back into the store 10 times over just to find the chair that'll break in 2 months and not one. Take her advice. Don't buy China. Buy from Moon. She'll make stuff that, well, she'll never make anything. She'll just sleep. But yeah, thanks a lot, China, for screwing me up. Now I gotta buy a new chair. And I'll go do that eventually. But for now, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.